everybody. So as you know, Nancy sent out an email early last week saying I want a pocket speech, and I said, yeah, I'll do it. And then I showed up, and on the agenda it said icebreaker, and everybody's like, that didn't seem like an icebreaker. And I'm like, yeah, that's because it wasn't. So today you're getting the icebreaker. So what ended up happening is my name's Sean Ross, and my parents were pregnant with me, or my mom was pregnant with me. This was back in the summer of 1968. They went to see a drive-in movie. And as you know, in a drive-in movie, there's two movies. There's the feature presentation, and then there's usually like an older movie from the old days. So in the summer of 1967, a year before, You Only Live Twice was released with Sean Connery. It was the 5th installment of the James Bond series. And after the first movie, the feature movie, which my mom doesn't even remember what that was, but she remembers the second movie, and she was just gobsmacked and in awe of Sean Connery and James Bond. She'd never seen a James Bond movie before. She's looking up at the screen and she says to my dad, this guy has so much vigor and power. I think if we have a boy, we should name him Sean after Sean Connery, S-E-A-N. And my dad said, yeah, that's an awesome idea. And the thing is, I'm not a pureblood, I'm a half-blood, meaning that my mother is Francophone and my father's an Anglophone. She said to my dad, I want to keep some of his French heritage, so we're going to give him the middle name Sylvain. So she called me Sean Sylvain Ross. SSR are my initials, not USSR, but SSR. And so yeah, that's who I was. And then we fast forward to when I'm in grade 9 in high school. And I just finished passing grade 9, and it was summer, and it was supposed to be fun and exciting. And my friend says to me, you know the Consumers Distributing on St. Charles Boulevard in Kirkland? I don't know if you've ever heard of Consumers Distributing, but it was the first time they took a mail order catalog and turned it into a store. So you would go to Consumers Distributing, you would get this catalog, it would have a little picture of the item that you wanted to buy, and then a little blurb underneath about what that item was, and then the item number if you wanted to order it. Behind this store was a big, huge field, which is right behind where the Walmart is, where all those condos are today. And in that field, there was an old house, and the house had gotten ripped down, and there was only the foundation left. And around the foundation was like the cement block that goes around the foundation so you could sit on it. So what we started doing that summer is we ended up going to this field, and we would sit around this foundation, and we would make a bonfire, and we would drink alcohol, and we would all shoot the shit and have fantastic conversations. And we felt so intelligent. I'm sure what we were saying was stupid because we were drunk, but it seemed intelligent in our brains. And we ended up calling the place the Intellectual. And we started hanging out at the Intellectual all the time. And behind the Walmart, there used to be a convenience store. And my 16-year-old friend used to work there, and he would sell us all booze, even though we weren't 18. But the thing is, back in the 1980s, the laws were not very strict. Even if the depanneur would get fined or they get caught by the police, they would basically just get a slap on the wrist. So I started drinking a lot, way too much. I was apt to become an alcoholic. And what ended up happening is I enjoyed my summer so much, and I loved the feeling of the alcohol coursing through my veins. And I was like, man, I want more of this, and I want more of this. And the next year, I started to party every weekend with my friends, and I was getting drunk, and my grades started to fall. And by grade 11, I ended up passing on almost every class. I got a 50%, which in those days is all you needed to pass. Now you need a 60% to pass. And I applied to John Abbott College, and they said, no way, man, we don't want you. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? So I said, I gotta fix myself. This is crazy. What am I doing? I'm too addicted to this alcohol, and it's screwing up my life. So I went back to John Abbott at night school, and I applied for a job at Rolls-Royce. And I ended up getting a job as a janitor at Rolls-Royce. I was cleaning toilets, sweeping the floor. I felt like I hit rock bottom. And what I did is, as I worked there for 2 years, and I kept taking my courses at night, and they ended up putting a job posting for a learner program. A learner program is where Rolls-Royce sends you back to school, teaches you how to become a mechanic, because they sell airplane engines. These are the engines that you see on a 747. And I went back to school. I went for 1.5 years or 2 years. When I finished that time, they put me beside a mechanic, and I became his apprentice. And I would work beside him all day, and he would teach me the job. And then as time went on, I started to get hands-on, and I would start doing the job. And then after 1 year of doing that, I became a full-blown mechanic. I did that for 2 years, and I hated it. So after the 2 years, they put up a job posting for an inspector. An inspector is somebody who inspects the work that the mechanic has done. So I then went into that role. I did that job for 2 years, and I hated it. So then a new posting came up for a marketing analyst. A marketing analyst is somebody who is basically a statistician. You check out all the data in the computer, you enter the data, you make reports, you provide them to your boss, and they say, okay, yeah, the company's doing well or it's not doing well. So I had no clue what I was doing, because I wasn't working on a computer all day. But there was this guy I was really good friends with, and I used to go see him, and I would ask him for help, and he would help me, and he would teach me how to do the job. And eventually I got very good at the job, and I actually enjoyed the job. And then the company, there were two parts to the company. There's the airplane division, and then there's the industrial division. The industrial division is where they take the airplane engine and they convert it into a machine that sucks oil out of the ground. That's the industrial section. The industrial section ended up getting closed down, and they sold it out to Siemens, and oh my God, I'm already at red. So I've got to say goodbye. Next time I'll tell you more.